Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 2, The Religion of the Celts. The ship symbol in Egypt. Now this symbol of the ship, with or without the actual portrayal of the solar emblem, is a very ancient and very common occurrence in the sepulchral art of Egypt. It is connected with the worship of Ra, which came in fully 4,000 years BCE, which is after the Easter occurrences. 4200 BCE is when Easter, as we know it, was invented, or at least practiced in a way that could be remembered with all the basic details. But I got distracted by alarm. I need to reset. Its meaning as an Egyptian symbol is well known. The ship was called the Boat of the Sun. It was the vessel in which the solar entity, Yuf, performed his journeys, in particular the journey which he made nightly to the shores of the otherworld, bearing with him in his bark the souls of the beatified dead. The sun entity, Ra, is sometimes represented by a disk, other times by other emblems, hovering above the vessel or contained within it. So you have, two fingers I can draw, and you got a stack here, and you have the ore. Anyone who will look over the painted or sculptured sarcophagi in the British Museum will find a host of examples. Sometimes he will find representations of the life-giving rays of Ra pouring down upon the boat and its occupants. Now, in one of the Swedish rock carvings of the ships at Backa, Bohuslän, given by Montelius, a ship crowded with figures is shown beneath a disk with 3 descending rays, and again another ship with a 2-rayed sun above it. It may be added that in the tumulus of Douth, which is close to that of Newgrange, and is entirely of the same character and period, rayed figures in quartered circles, obviously solar emblems, occur abundantly, as also at Loughcrew and other places in Ireland. And one other ship figure has been identified at Douth. In Egypt, the solar boat is sometimes represented as containing the solar emblem alone, and sometimes it contains the figures of, a power with attendant powers. Sometimes it contains a crowd of passengers. Sometimes it contains a crowd of passengers representing human souls, and sometimes the figure of a single corpse on a bier. Megalithic carvings also sometimes show the solar emblem, and sometimes not. The boats are sometimes filled with figures that are sometimes empty. When a symbol at once has been accepted and understood, any conventional or summary representation of it is sufficient. So the Egyptian solar bark with Knemu and attendants, and the other was the Egyptian bark with the figure of Ra holding an ox enclosed in the solar disk, 19th dynasty. I take it that the complete form of the megalithic symbol is that of a boat with figures in it, and with the solar emblem overhead. These figures, assuming the foregoing interpretation of a design to be correct, must clearly be taken for representations of the dead on their way to the other world. They cannot be deities, for representations of the divine powers under human aspect were quite unknown to the megalithic people. Even after the coming of the Celts, they first occur in Gaul under the Roman influence. But if these figures represent the dead, then we have clearly before us the origin of the so-called Celtic doctrine of immortality. The carvings in question are pre-Celtic. They are found where no Celts ever penetrated, yet they point to the existence of just that other-world doctrine which, from the time of Khazar downwards, has been associated with Celtic Druidism, and this doctrine was distinctly Egyptian. There's bound to be a lot of doctrines that are lost to history in terms of their representation, but some of these were even dominant ideas. Like, think about it. If a no representation of a divine culture exists, well, I mean, mention of, but no representation, and a basically oral culture, the few guys around that worship statues, or the few women or whatever, it's their ideas are going to survive.